All right, we're back online. Sorry about that. I had to get something. I hope I'm audible now. I guess my guest is I'm reaching you live from Benin City, the ancient city of Benin. I can see you, Abimbola. Thanks for joining in. Yes, I want to talk about a few things, just a few things. I hope you can hear me. If you can hear me, let me hear you. Just let me feel you type something if you can hear me. Okay, good afternoon. All right, that's good. So, it's been 10 years. It's been 10 years of work in what we normally call corporate Nigeria. And so, a couple of weeks ago, I decided to start writing what I'll call a series of articles about my 10 years experience as an employee of a company, what we call a white collar job, right? So I decided to have a chat with my friend Silas about the things we regularly experience as employees as against what the entrepreneurs do. And so, in a short while, my dear friend, my twinnie, like I call him, Silas, she'll be coming on. And I'm hoping that we'll have a nice time chatting about what I have tagged employment versus entrepreneurship. It's a casual chat. I do not intend to make it very formal. And so it's not scripted. This chat is not scripted. It's something I would have done over the phone on a normal day with my friend or with anyone. But I decided to make it live. Cross-check my tenses or my grammatical structures today. Just allow me to be free. And so I want to take some time to talk about life as an employee and what it also entails, looking at it from both sides, whether as a business owner, an entrepreneur, or as an employee of a company. So it's funny how time flies. Only 10 years ago, I was an employee, a job seeker, like we call it. I was a job seeker. And I remember how hard it was for me to get my act together. But when I got a job, it became like, I don't know, it felt so good. And 10 years has passed since then. I'm thinking about a lot of things that has happened. I'm thinking about so many things. So many things. Yes, Silas, I can tell that you have joined. So let me bring you on. All right. Can you hear me, Silas?
Yeah, I can hear you now. What's up? How's it going?
Okay. I'm going fine. I'm doing well.
Can you hear me clearly from your end?
Yes, I can. Yes, I can. I'm hearing you loud and clear.
Okay, okay.
It's
So how's
lunch
it going?
hour. It's lunch hour, so I decided to come out and chill. Live from Benin City. I'm at Kada, by the way.
Yeah,
Just chilling.
you're enjoying
No,
that.
no,
You're a big man
nothing
now.
much. Just chilling. It's lunch hours. I'm just chilling. No big deal.
Okay, no problem. Free advertisement for that brand, eh?
Well, and they're not even paying me. Come to think of it, they're not even paying me for the advert. I'm just
Okay, now.
anyhow. Salat is nice having you.
Yeah,
It's a long time coming. This kind of chat has never happened live like this. But you know, we talk about these things on a regular, on the phone.
yeah. True,
It's
true.
these are
That's
kind of
true.
that's why I like the fact that it's not scripted. It's not like we're not doing something that is scripted. We're not
Nah,
prepared. It's just the kind of regular chat you and I will have on a good day.
yeah,
Just
normally.
about life, about business. And so you are I like to call you my twinnie. Yes, because we have some things in common. I won't go into all that.
A
Meeting you in
lot.
2000 and yeah, a lot of things. Meeting you in 2012, 11, 12 thereabout.
Was it
Um,
11? It was 11. I think.
it
It
was
was
11,
11.
right?
Something like
Okay,
yeah.
2011. We've come a long way. 9 years. 9 years. I was just 1 year on the job at the time as an
Okay.
employee of my company, and see how far we've gone. And like you already know, I began to write a series on Facebook. I
Yeah, I've
called
been
it
following it.
you've been following it, of course. Thank you. I
Yeah.
called it 10 articles in 10 weeks to celebrate 10 years of corporate experience or of
So,
work in corporate Nigeria.
congratulations. Congratulations.
Yeah, congrats. It's been a decade, Silas. It's been a decade. It's been a decade.
That's a
And
whole lot.
I decided to document my experience. I just wanted to think about all we've been through, all we've learned so far on the journey. And I felt like
Yeah.
who better to chat with than my good guy, Silas? Let's talk about something
Yeah.
entrepreneurship, about employment. Now,
Yeah.
you've worked for a while, 13
Yeah.
years precisely. Now, when you give that CV, you kind of intimidate me, right? You kind of
Come on.
intimidate me.
No, it's
Yeah, you kind of intimidate me.
no, it's
When you say
because
you've
I
worked
started.
for 13 years, you've been on someone's payroll for 13 years, that's, brother, that's intimidating. Tell me about it.
No, that's because I started quite early. I started while I was still in school. Uh, because for a teacher, your professional life starts in your second year of school. All right.
All right.
For anyone that studied education, they would agree with me that once you are in the faculty of education, your professional life starts from your second year. The school will send you
Okay.
out on teaching practice, where you are to practice basically what you've learned in the first 1 year and a half, more or less.
Okay.
And
Okay.
there, your professional life just starts. You get it? And
Yeah.
in my case, while I went to do that at Idia College in Benin City, the
Yeah.
school retained me as a PTA teacher because they did not have enough teachers. They
Okay.
had such a large school. I used to teach at school 6. They had 7 different junior schools. Okay,
Wow.
so
Wow.
when my teaching practice was getting over, uh, you know, they said that, oh, okay, this guy is actually very good and all of that. Oh, why don't we just
Yeah.
retain him? The school was like, we can't afford to retain him. The state would not actually want to retain him as a staff because he has not finished his degree and all of that. So the
All
PTA
right.
came together. The PTA came together and raised. They started raising money to pay us. It was myself and a few other people to teach physical education, science, and some of the core subjects. And they started
All
paying
right.
us a PTA teacher. My first salary was 7,000 naira, you know,
Wow.
and
Wow.
all of that. So that's how my professional life started as a teacher. So this was in 2006. That's why it is so long, 13 years ago. So while I
Yeah.
was in
Yeah.
school, so while I was in school, 300 level, 400 level, I was working part time as a school teacher at that point. So that's how my career started as a teacher.
Wow. Interesting. Now,
Yeah,
now let's talk about something.
yeah.
Salary. The concept of in one of those articles
Yeah,
I said something about the disadvantages of being an employee, that your
mm,
mind is fixated on salary. The average
yeah.
employee lives for that period we
That's
call end of the month.
yeah. The bank
You
alerts
live,
as it is right
yeah, the
right
baccarat
now.
as it is.
You know.
Exactly. uh,
So
do you think it affects the mindset, particularly of young people who might have entrepreneurial drive in them? Do you think it has a negative impact on the mindset of the people, of young people, or of
well,
who will be entrepreneurs?
well, I wouldn't say negative impact. You see, all of these things, they are perceptive. There is no right or wrong answer. I've heard a lot of people say, and I've seen, quotes and memes that say salary is what you get for you to abandon your dream
Yeah, I
and
actually put
all
that
of that.
quote there. Yes, I put it on that
You
my
know,
article. Yeah, I
yeah,
saw
yeah,
that
I
too.
saw it. You get,
Okay.
but then again, like I said, it is all perceptive. So for me, take for instance myself. Instead of me seeing salary as something you take to abandon your dream, I see it as something you take to plant and build your dream. All right. So
Okay.
it is like when you put something on the scale, it weighs both ways, right? So
Yeah.
it could be advantageous for those that are willing to understand how to put their salary into work and build an extra income vehicle like a business system, being an entrepreneur, and all of that. Vis-a-vis the other person that thinks, oh, salary is for me to just relax, I'm not going to do anything again, and then I'm just going to work for 35 years or so and retire and earn my pension. Whatever way
Yeah.
it is, however you want to live your life, well, I cannot decide for you exactly, but
Okay.
I won't say exactly it's a bad thing. However, it does actually make a lot of people relax. Okay, because
Yeah.
you gradually get comfortable with the fact that, oh, at the end of the month there's definitely something. No matter what happens, there's definitely something that is going to come. However, when you know the reality of things in life and anticipate dangers, you would be able to prepare yourself way, way, way ahead by creating an extra source of income, by building a business system on the side, either directly or
Okay.
indirectly. You understand? So that
Yeah.
whole salary mentality argument, you know, kind of, how will I put it? It's dicey. It's on a scale.
It
So it
is.
depends
It
on
is.
so it depends on what side. It depends on what side you are tilting to. Take for instance, for me, working all these years has been beyond salary. Yes, salary is very important, but working all these years has been beyond salary. The experience you get while you work, you can never put a fee on that or put
Okay.
a pin. You get what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
beyond
Yeah.
that,
True.
that's why I said it's perceptive. If you are the type that just thinks about the salary alone and you're not thinking about other value that you are getting from the job and then you are adding to the job, then it might be a problem for you. Typically that's what I think.
Hmm. Interesting. You might have heard me say this before. My story, how I became a paid employee. I think I probably said something like about it on the job.
Yeah,
I mean, on one of those.
we've
My
had
original
one.
my original plan was not to be an employee.
Well,
Or should I say, I felt fresh out of school. I already had ideas to publish books. I already knew I wanted to be a trainer in terms of personal growth or what we used to call motivational speaking. However, after NYC, I realized that there were no jobs, more or less. Or
there are no
should I
jobs anywhere in the world as it is right now.
do you understand? This is even, of course, we're talking about COVID issue, but this is way aside COVID. There were really no jobs, or the conditions were stringent. You had the age restrictions. You had to be 24 or 25, or blah blah blah. I was practically pissed off,
Yeah.
and so I felt like, hey, let me just go write my books, publish them, and be the next
Yeah.
Fernando Rotoye or the next Samadeyemi, those big
Yeah,
names.
you're already an award-winning author, so you're already on the path.
Do
So
you understand? Couple of years down the line, the dream is it's coming together. The pieces, the piece of the puzzle, it's
yeah,
all making sense. But at the
yeah.
time, I'm trying to say how I got into the paid employee part. At the time, I published my first book titled Achieving Academic Excellence, and I began to
Yeah.
sell it on campuses. I felt like, oh, you made a good grade, you were a high flyer in school, put your experience into a published work and
Yeah.
sell. And sell, I
True.
did. Until I met one young man. If you read my first article, one young man that said, if you are so good, why are you selling books? Why are you not in one company? It wasn't up to 6 months. After that, I got a job. It wasn't up to 6 months. I do not know, as a person, I don't know whether that script was running at the back of my mind or it just so happened that a job found me. But the truth is, when I saw the opportunity to work, I just took it. Maybe I was tired of being a budding entrepreneur. Maybe I copped out. Maybe I took the easy way out. But I felt like I just couldn't do it.
No, you think you took the easy way out. You actually took the difficult parts. That's the
Right?
truth. Because
That's why we're having this talk.
Subjecting yourself under the leadership of another person, another human being, another corporation, takes a lot of humility. It takes a lot of how will I put it? It takes a somebody with so much leadership quality to subject himself or herself under the leadership of someone else.
True.
Okay, so if you are unteachable, if you are not a good follower, if you are not a good listener, if you are not a team player, all of which an entrepreneur needs, you will not be able to work under somebody and work for that person or for anybody for this long, for 10 years. You will not. No matter what it is, no matter how much they pay you, because something will definitely put you off, something will definitely make you want to just throw in the towel and walk away. Maybe it could be how somebody greets in the morning and then you just get pissed off and like, I don't like how they greet me in the morning. How can me hold me with this plenty beers and you're not greeting me very well? I'm not working again. You understand?
Yeah.
So, it takes a whole lot, as someone that wants to lead others, to learn how to be led. Because if you do not walk the path, you will not know. Like I kept saying while I was working, I said there is a lot of things I'm learning about how not to run my own company when I go full time and how to run my company when I go full time while I am working. Because what is going on in that organization is not going to be any different from what will go on in my own company. The human beings or the people that will work there will not fall from the sky. They will not come from
They're also
another
human.
planet. Good. So the cultural influence of the country will definitely influence how they will work with me. That is one of the things I'm learning as an employee. The way they relate with money and they operate with money. 2 days ago or so, I wrote about smart goals and all. The place I used to work, they will make us every quarter. They will make us write smart goals.
Yeah, I saw that piece.
And some of my colleagues, they were not having it. They were not finding it funny. But personally, I took it up and like, fine, this is something. you know. But the crack that was there was the management that made us write those SMART goals did not come back at the end of the quarter to evaluate what we had written down and measure whether this was achieved, this was not achieved, why was this not achieved, and how we can roll it over and repeat it. You know, we at least tell people that most of the things that we do are, you know, have roots in cultural upbringing. You
True.
understand?
True.
Number one, why do many of us really want to? The question that you mentioned that the guy asked you, if you are so good, why are you not with one company? You know well, because culturally we have been programmed to believe that if you are very good, you should be in a corporate environment.
You
They
should
do
be
not
under
believe
somebody's
you
payroll.
should good. You should be so good that people want to hire you. If you are
Hire
that
you.
good, somebody
Yeah.
should hire you. It is
Yeah.
not. It is just a cultural upbringing. There is no hard and fast rule. There is no law that says if you are good you must be employed, or if you are not good you must. You know, somebody even told me that entrepreneurship are for dropouts and people that did not make it in life.
Wow.
That's what somebody told.
Wow.
That's what somebody told me. You can imagine
Wow.
that, and then you start figuring like, really, why would you think that? Why do you think that people that are high flyers in school cannot come out and become high flyers as entrepreneurs and all of that? So all of this falls back to cultural upbringing, um, neuro-linguistic programming, how all of this was formed, you know, in our mind as we are growing up and all of that.
Okay.
So that's just the
If I
long and
get you,
short of it.
if I get you, what you're saying is there's nothing really basically wrong with being an employee. In
No.
fact, what you said, in fact, if you go through it with a proper mindset, the elements, the things you need to set up yourself as an entrepreneur, the training, the basic training you
As a
would need,
successful one for that matter.
one would be the things you learned while being an employee. Like you talked
Yeah.
about the smart goal stuff. Whatever it is that you are going through as an employee, they are kind of preparing you for your business, more or less. If I
Yeah.
get you, that's
Yeah.
the kind of
True.
okay. Now
True.
look, picture the concept. You know, with the current situation in the country, it's not just
Mm-hmm.
current now. It's been that way for
For a
a
while,
decade,
yeah.
yeah, for a while. It brought about the syndrome of what I'll call, maybe I'll say forced entrepreneurship. People are forced to become entrepreneurs. This is my concept, maybe just my thoughts.
No, it's fine.
Not
It's
because,
totally
not,
fine.
not because they really have the entrepreneurial flair, but
Mm.
a majority of our young population are forced, again, quote unquote, forced to become entrepreneurs. Maybe
Yeah.
because there are no jobs, maybe because some of them feel like it's a fad, it's easier. We've heard of cases of people who start up being entrepreneurs, just like I tried, they run away and get a job. So it now looks like, oh boy, you really didn't believe in being an entrepreneur in the first place. How do you
Yeah.
start up trying to be an entrepreneur, then
And
you
they run
bail out,
away to one.
and then if you
What,
if
what, what, what most people call a sellout. You
you
sold
sell
out.
out, you sold out. It means the entrepreneurial thing is not in your heart. You were a forced entrepreneur. What do you say about things like that? People trying to start on a path of entrepreneurship and maybe backing out. Maybe the pressure is too much. You go bankrupt, or just imagine somebody starts a company, a business, and you go bankrupt, and you are like, "Hey, let me just go look for a job." Anything wrong with that?
No, there's nothing wrong
Okay.
with that. You're trying to survive. You're a human being first before anything else. Okay? Like I always say, you are first a human before anything else. And the default setting of humans is survival first before anything else.
Okay.
So once you come to the point where you go into survival mode, you would want to survive first, then do anything else. All right?
Okay.
Whether it is being an exceptional professional as an entrepreneur or as an employee,
Yeah.
or you want to
Yeah.
be the Fortune 500 Forbes top list entrepreneur, whatever it is you want to be, okay, you are first a human being. So
Okay.
you have to be that human being first before you can do anything else. And the thing that makes you being a human being is for you to be alive, for you to survive. Now, if getting a job would put food on your table for you to survive, and then you can do a 9 to 5, and then later in the evening you can do a 6 to 9, there is no problem with that. All right. Take for instance, like I mentioned yesterday while I was promoting this live broadcast. I said my 2 days ago or so, my inbox was a completely drama theater. When I put a fun
Okay.
fact in my post that I had worked for 13 years, do you know a lot of people did not know? They never knew I was working. They never knew I had a 9 to 5. One somebody like, how on earth did you have a 9 to 5 and you've been able to set up businesses? How did you even do it? People think it is impossible. It is not. It is how far you are willing to stretch yourself. How you just get relaxed at a point and you say, oh, okay, I've closed from work. Let me just put my feet up, watch TV, and enjoy myself and all of that.
Yeah.
Forgetting the
Yeah.
fact that you're trying to build something for yourself, for your future. I'm the kind of person
Okay.
that wants to build legacy wealth. You understand? So all of those things are some of the things that we do not put into cognizance. So there's nothing wrong with you getting a job first and then transiting to becoming an entrepreneur. There's nothing wrong with you being an entrepreneur and then transiting to get a job to survive and then fund. There is nothing wrong crossing both ways. The
There are
most
no hard
important thing is
and
that
yeah,
they are not
fast
hard and
rules.
fast. There's nothing cast on stone. If you see,
Yeah.
let me tell you, a friend of mine made a comment recently, and I really, really believe in what he said. He said something. He said, all of this entrepreneurship that you're doing, Silas, when you see something, a job, the way a paid employment that will pay you times 2, times 3 your annual revenue in your business, forget this
Yeah.
entrepreneurship, you will take that job. And I said, yes,
You see,
because in the end,
you see the kind of things I'm talking about. There are people who believe that go away. You entrepreneurs, just it's because you have not seen jobs. That's why you
no,
think
see,
like
in
entrepreneurship.
the
There are people who believe
end,
that concept. Yeah.
in the end, a job and a business as an entrepreneur
Yeah.
is not what it is. It is what it is meant to do. You understand? If you take a job or you start a
Yeah.
business, why?
Yeah.
Have you been able to answer the question why? Where? How? Those three questions. Why are you taking the job or why are you starting the business? Take, for instance,
Okay.
I'm very passionate about teaching people. I have come to
Yeah.
understand that that is part of my life. There's nothing I
Okay.
can do about it. This is who I am. Even in my business, I have an academy. That's to tell you how serious I take teaching. So if and when I get a teaching job, all right, that is going to
Yeah.
pay me as much as my annual revenue in business or what my business is paying me, I could
Yeah.
take it. I don't mind as long as it's within the confines of teaching. The goal and the vision is to impact people. You understand?
Okay.
So,
Okay.
so take for instance, if maybe the United Nations, for example, come and say, "See, we've been seeing all you are doing, we've been seeing all the impact you are creating, and all of that, and we would like to give you a particular job or a contract." I'm registered as a United Nations volunteer, and
Okay.
if
Good
I
one.
get an email today that I should come to one country, and then they are going to so why would I not take that job working for the United Nations?
And
Because
it won't be like you are a sellout. It won't be like, oh, you
no, I
dropped
won't be I
entrepreneurship
won't
at the slightest opportunity. That kind of a
i-
thing.
i- interestingly, in 2020, in today's day and time, you don't even
Yeah.
exactly have to drop your entrepreneurship journey for a job. Thank God to the internet. All right.
Okay.
All I need,
You
all
are
I
coming
need.
into side hustle. You are bringing this discussion into having side hustles, right?
So the thing is, what is your main hustle and your side hustle? So you could
Okay.
swap it. Right now, as it is, where I'm sitting, my my business is my main hustle. If I get a job, that job becomes a side hustle. Now
Oh, interesting.
the job
Your
could become my main hustle, and the business could
business
become a
becomes
side hustle. Who says you cannot have best of both worlds? Why are we having this issue and argument of, oh, you are a sellout because you took a job, oh, or you it's because you have not
Or you
seen
are
a well-paying job?
or you are a hardcore. This other person is a hardcore entrepreneur. These other ones are, you know that people will
You get
say
what
that
I'm
I'm
saying?
a career person. I don't know if you have people like that. They say I'm a career person. I don't have the power to do all this business. I'm a career person, a career
Yes. See,
man.
it comes
And they
down
make
it
it look
comes
like
down to something.
yeah, career means office work or white collar job. Is entrepreneurship not a career? Is business not a career? A career in
It
business,
is.
for instance.
It is. It is.
Okay.
It simply means that's what I'm saying, that our foundations as children, our culture shaped our
Okay.
language, shaped our belief
Okay.
system, shaped a lot of things that we consider right or
Sorry, but wait.
wrong. Or
I just want you to see a feel of the streets of Benin City from Kada View. So
you are really enjoying yourself.
just
Okay,
eyes on. Uh,
that's
we
that's good.
are not on lockdown. All right. So sorry, that was
I
just an
actually,
aside. Just
no, it's good. At least the viewers will have a different feel beyond just talking.
yeah,
Okay, so
exactly.
so basically, what I'm trying to say is, who said that
Yeah.
this one is right, this one is wrong? You
Okay.
must get a job, or you must start a business, or if you start a business, you are a failure academically, or you are a failure in your career, or if you get a
Okay.
job, you are a completely sellout, and you do not. So the thing is, like I said, it comes back down to culture, upbringing, belief system, and ultimately self-awareness. Because some people would say, I am a career person. What they are actually telling you is that I cannot take as much risk as you. You understand? It's not everybody that will wake
Okay.
up and put all their life savings into publishing their Facebook when they are not even sure they are going to sell like you did. Are you getting it? That was
True.
a huge risk. Because what if nobody bought a copy? What if? Are you getting
True.
what I'm saying? So it is that sense of security that
All right.
has been sold to those people, and that's why they say, no, I am a career person, because they want to be in a place that is seemingly secure, where they are sure of something at the end of the month. Okay, but life has taught us in the last 10 years that it is not even true. At least between me and you, you've worked for about 10 years. This is your 10th year working. I have worked for about 13 years. We both know that there is nothing like job security in the real sense of it. It is
Yeah.
as
True.
much risk as going into business. It is as much
True.
risk as getting into investment like I am doing right now.
True.
Okay? You
True.
wake up tomorrow morning and the job no longer exists. What if the company shuts down? What if something happens? What if there is an act of God that you cannot control, and
True.
you get all of those things, and then tomorrow morning you wake up. Take for instance, in 2013, I woke up on the 2nd of January and I didn't have a job anymore. Why? The school I used to work, the building had been sold to a transporter just by Technical Junction there, and the transporter brought in
Wow.
bulldozers and bulldozed the school down to the ground. I woke up in Yeah, I woke
Talk
up in the
about
morning.
a rude awakening, a
Yeah,
rude shock.
very rude, very, very rude. I went to bed on the 1st, expecting to resume my work on the 3rd or the 4th. And then I woke up in
Yeah.
the morning and the bulldozer had taken down the building, and I no longer had a job. Who will I blame for that? Was I supposed to kill somebody or do something to anybody? No. The owner of the school had nothing she could do. She was like, well, men and brethren, this is it. The road ends here for now. You probably have to look for something else. You get what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
in that kind of situation, what do you do?
Okay.
What do you do?
Interesting.
So
So yeah, this is it. This is it. From our discourse so far, as we
yeah,
begin to, it's lunch hour break, so I should be getting back to the
yeah,
office shortly.
yeah, no
Um,
problem.
there, of course, I'm still an employee.
No, it's fine. It's okay.
There's this trend. From what we've discussed,
Mm-hmm.
there seems to be no. There's a thin line between being an employee. Almost every employee, in fact, there's a survey that says 8 out of 10 employees either have side businesses or planning
Yeah.
to have their own businesses. Do you
Mm-hmm.
understand? There seems to be no clear-cut boundary anymore between a hardcore employee, like fully employee, and a business person. Almost every employee has the concept
A
of
side
side
hustle.
hustle. As in fact,
And
you are
every
encouraged to have a side
mm,
hustle now. As against those days where those days we say government workers, you are supposed. I don't know if they still have those rules in the government, in the government sector.
they
You're not
still
supposed
have a
to have
few
it
of them, but they are relaxing it gradually.
because the concept of side hustle has really come to stay. There's
Mm.
really there's a thin line between being an entrepreneur and being an employee. Okay, this is where I want you to go to now.
Okay.
If you have, as we prepare to round up, if you have a fresh school leaver meet you with your wealth of experience, you and I have
Yeah.
seen the four walls of the corporate sector as it is, and business, doing our thing by the side, or in your case now full time. If you meet a
Yeah.
fresh graduate, say 20, 22, 23, 24, 25, whatever, and he has this desire to do something with his life, he has
Yeah.
potentials, he's gifted in something, one thing or the other, and you want to advise him. Do I take a paid job? Do I pursue entrepreneurship? Because sometimes people like you and I will ask ourselves, the 10 years or the 13 years in your case that you spent
Yeah.
working on someone else's vineyard, to use the
Mm.
scriptural, if you had invested all those years in your own thing, business, would you
Yeah.
have been better off? So with that mindset, say you see a fresh graduate now, and he has that question for you. What would you say? What would you suggest? He tells you, should I be
Okay.
an employee? Should I be an entrepreneur?
Okay. So first and foremost, it's a good thing that you brought in the scriptures. I would want to use the analogy of Jacob. Jacob wanted
Okay.
to marry. Jacob wanted to marry Rachel, and
Yeah.
Laban asked him to serve for 7 years to be
Okay.
able to marry Rachel as a
Yeah.
headsman, managing his
Yeah.
cattle. Then he did, but instead of Rachel, he got Leah, which
Okay.
is one of the things that happens in investment and in business. Then he now had to serve another 7 years to get Rachel, which is what he
True.
ultimately won.
Yeah.
Okay. Now he now reviewed the terms of his contract that we are going to have a share, revenue share, at the end
Yeah.
of this second part of the 7 years. And
Yeah.
they agreed, him and Laban agreed, you take the plain, I take the spotted, and all of that. And at the
Yeah.
end of this whole thing, Jacob left that whole experience, 14 years experience, with two
Yeah.
wives and a huge cattle,
Several.
servant,
Yeah.
and all.
Children.
Do you
Yeah.
know that would never had happened if Jacob did not serve at all? So, point I'm trying to make is this. Anybody fresh out of school, interestingly, unlike our time, the kids that leave school these days are 30 and below. Okay? So if you are
Yeah.
30 and below and you're asking me that question, what I'm going to do is to tell you to take a job first. Serve. First learn how to serve. Now, while you are
Hmm.
serving,
Yeah.
just like Jacob, you are going to learn how to take care of the cattle. You are going to understand the business. You are going to build a network. You are going to leverage on that place. There are a lot of people you know today that you probably won't have met in your life, but for your job. Are you getting
True.
what I'm saying? In the first
True.
place, that is how we met. I met you on your job.
Yeah.
I
True.
came to so
Yeah.
so you see, there are a lot of people you would never meet in your life but for your job. All right. So
Yeah.
what I would tell any fresh grad that wants to go into the world as it is to first
Yeah.
take a job, no matter how small. Don't look at the pay. Look at the experience you are going to get. Look at the
Yeah.
network you are going to build. Look at the
Okay.
capacity you are going to build over the period
Okay.
of time that you are going to be working. Now, how long you now want to work and build on the side is totally dependent on you. All right? Because when
Okay.
Jacob was serving his 7 years, he did not just go there and serve for nothing. He was also rearing his own cattle. And that is why he reviewed his contract to say, see, I've
Yeah.
worked for you for 7 years. I want to be rearing my own cattle too. I now understand this business. I now know the suppliers. I know the off-takers. I know the market. I understand how this thing works. You understand? So I want to have my own so that as I'm building for you, I am building for myself because I am going to
Yeah.
marry a wife. In this case, I'm getting
Yes.
2 wives so that when I leave
Yeah.
here, I have something to be able to take care of myself and this family.
Okay.
So this is the same thing that even if you study the life of the Jews, if you anybody
Yeah.
that knows very well about the Jews, and that is why you see that most of the wealthy men today are Jewish. All right, go and look at the Forbes top 10. Most of them are Jewish because of
Okay.
this
True.
foundational knowledge that they have. They understand that first you have to serve. While you are serving, you learn. While you are learning, you keep aside for yourself, and then you start building. Now, I am
Okay.
here telling you now, oh, that I am a full-time entrepreneur. If I did not
Yeah.
learn in the last 13 years that I've been working and putting something aside and setting up the company where I am working full-time right now, where would I have been working when I left the job? I will have nothing. And then I'll come back to square zero and become a liability to other people. You understand? And that is where
Very
all
true.
of those entitlement mentality start coming in. So
Very
please,
true.
anybody that is
I
watching this
totally
now,
agree.
anybody that is listening to this, get something that pays you first and start building yours on the side till that thing that you are building can pay you before you go full time.
I love that. Beautiful concept. Beautiful concept. Jesus said, if you are not faithful in that which is another man's, who is going to
Little
give you that which is yours? I love
again,
that concept. It starts with
again,
building,
Jewish.
helping some,
You see?
yeah, Jewish concept.
Yeah,
Building something for someone, be helping somebody build his own dream. Then you come back
yeah,
and yours
and
because you
build
have
yours.
faithfully served and helped somebody build his own dream. And
Yeah,
I think it's a beautiful way to see being an employee. It's a nice way to see it because some of us have a wrong mindset. There's some other things that I've loved us to touch, for instance, but for time's sake, hopefully we'll do this kind of things again and again. Things
yeah, no
like
problem.
when you do work as an employee,
Mm-hmm.
how do you decide what kind of work matters or what kind of work is like a waste of your life? Because going again to those people who say your salary is the bribe for you to forget your dream, I think the premise of such statements is that your work, whatever work you are doing, you, for instance, love to teach,
Yeah.
and all
Okay.
your 10 years of work experience had been in that sector,
Mostly within teaching sector. Yeah.
mostly with the teaching sector. So there are
Mm-hmm.
people who have dreams in, say, XYZ, but you are working in somewhere that it's totally off. You work in a company that everything, the modus operandi and everything they're into is way off your line, so to speak. Do you understand that? So in that
Yeah.
case, would the person be said to be wasting his time, not living up to his dream, or would whatever we said so far, will it still apply? Your 5, 6, 7, 2 years in that place, would it give you something you would use? I want you to touch on that. Did you got what I said? You got that
Yes,
concept?
yes, yes, yes. I got the concept. So the thing is, let me use a very popular example in Nigeria. Popular example is the
Yeah.
banking sector. I know they will say I'm coming
Okay.
for them again. So the popular example is the banking sector because
Yeah.
why I said the banking sector is because there are no off days really, and then you work. It's not exactly a 9 to 5. You resume as early as 7 a.m. and sometimes get home by 9 p.m. For those in
Yeah.
Lagos, it's even worse. They get home by 11, and then the cycle
Yes.
just continues. And then you're wondering
Yes.
when will I have the time to build something for myself and all of
Yes.
that. Now, the truth of such situation is this: in such kind of places, you do not put in so long a time. All right.
Okay.
Now the trick to that is management. Start putting something aside for yourself every month. Understand that you went there for two things: the experience, the network, and then the money. Also, it's three now:
Okay.
the experience, the network, and the money. So gain the experience of working, network with people that you can leverage on to start your own business, and then the money, make sure you are keeping aside 20 to 30% of whatever you earn to form the
Okay.
initial capital of whatever you are going to build when you get out of there. Now, depending on how old you are, will now determine on how long you want to stay there. If you are 25, for example, you can afford to give another 5, 10 years to such a job and then pull out. All right. If you
Okay.
are maybe 30, that means the older you are, the shorter the time you are going to put into that
The
kind of
time
job.
period.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah. So when you do all of that, you are able to get yourself out of that place gradually. And like I said again, thank God for the internet. You can
Yeah.
start creating, teasers, because how take for instance, you've taken 1 hour or so of your lunch time to have this interview and have this conversation. It's not going to
Yeah.
disrupt your regular work, but then again, you
Yeah.
have done something. Okay,
Yeah.
so those few times that you step out for lunch, those few times that you go out for marketing, so start creating footprints on social media, start creating footprints on the internet that would start building the perception of your future buyers that, oh, this person is an expert in this thing. So if you are a customer, if take for instance, if you are working in customer service and you want to build a business, it is a no-brainer that you should start from being a customer service expert before you now start saying, oh, I want to build a business in aeronautics.
Okay.
Because no matter
Because you will
no
always be
matter what,
customer even in your
in
aeronautic
your
business.
aeronautics, you understand. So
Yeah.
I'm using two extremes right now, something that is very
Yeah.
simple and something that is very, very extreme. You get what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So
True.
there is no skill, there is no knowledge, there is no experience that stands in isolation of itself. So you are using my example as being a teacher. You understand? That is not an excuse. So if I want to become a career engineer, I want to build an engineering business, for example,
Yeah.
and I find myself working in the bank. Okay,
Yeah.
one of the
Yeah.
things I should learn from the bank is how to sell, how to
Okay.
network with people, because in the end, if I build my engineering company, I still have to start making sales, I still have to start closing clients for us to be getting money, because the
True.
engineering thing is not going to sell itself. Are you getting what
True.
I'm saying? So there are elements of that particular job you would be doing at that time that will be instrumental to the growth of what you want to build
More
later.
like saying transferable skills, soft skills that you
That
can always use
is
regardless of what you want to do.
anytime, anywhere.
So in
You
essence, it's not a
understand?
waste. No job is really a waste if you look
Hold
at it
on.
from that concept.
I
Okay.
studied I studied education. I studied
Yeah.
education, and
Yeah.
one of my biggest skill right now, according to an 8 year screen that I did recently, is
Okay.
sales channel management. I don't
Okay.
understand how education and sales relate, but then again, when you look at it, I studied in education. I've worked with a brewery company before. Okay,
Okay.
I've worked in the transport sector.
Okay.
I've worked full time in teaching. I am currently
Yeah.
running an agro investment capital company that is a
Yeah.
finance broker. So what is the focal point of all of this? The fact that
Yeah.
I am able to transfer this knowledge from this person to this person. Now, for me to be able to sell you on an idea, I have to first teach you why that idea makes sense. Now, once you start assimilating that, you start
It all
buying
comes
into
together.
what I am now telling.
It all
It's that
comes
simple.
together.
So,
It all
being
comes
a
together.
teacher is also helping me sell whatever and wherever I have worked before.
True. Wow, that's a good one. That's a good one. It's been nice talking to you, talking with you, my dear friend and twinny Silas. Unfortunately, it's just 1 hour, and we have to leave it at that for now.
It's
I I
totally
I
fine.
I, I I'm hoping we'll do this so much more as in the
More often,
future.
yeah,
Thank you,
no
bro.
problem.
Thank you, bro. Thumbs
No
up.
problem.
Thank you.
All
And for
right.
those who joined,
All right.
joined we appreciate them. Thank you. Thank you for
Thank
joining
you
in.
so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
All right. Bye
All
for
right.
now,
Take
bro.
care.
All right,
Yeah.
man.